What's up, guys? 24.3 is officially here, and this is one hell of a workout. Good way to close out this year's Open with a lot of thrusters and pulling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some general strategies, and then I'm going to go over the thrusters and the pulling with some tips, no matter who you are, whether you're really good with these movements and you're elite level, or you're brand new, or these things aren't as good for you yet. This will be useful for everybody. So first thing, I'm going to go in a few different camps here. If you feel like you have bar muscle ups down and you can do those, that you just can't do those in big sets yet, and they're not, you don't feel extremely confident with them, then your job with this workout is to get through the first 5 rounds quickly, but in small sets. My vote is 10 out of 10 to break the reps if that's you. Just because it matters so much more that you get one more bar muscle up than it does your tie break time. A tie break time is just breaking a tie. If you get a better score, then you don't have to fuck with that tie break time. So you guys get the point. So make sure that if you have bar muscle ups but they're not awesome for you yet, go quickly. You can't chill on the first bit, but you've got to keep your reps in the tank and don't let any grindy rep happen whatsoever during the chest to bar and thruster portion, and break those up just so you don't have that total volume in one set adding up for you later. If you do not have bar muscle ups yet, or it's like a Hail Mary for you, then you gotta send it on the first 5 rounds. Because dude, getting through the first 5 rounds of 10 and 10 is no joke by itself. So if you know that bar muscle ups is not it's either not in the cards or it's like a maybe for you, then you need to give yourself a good time in the beginning, give yourself a good little bit of rest to get your shit together, and then you can go into attempting your bar muscle ups. And then if you're, semifinals level person, or you're super fit with these movements, or however that works, if you're an RX Plus athlete, you've got to go on this. The biggest thing is that you cannot get out of control. No matter what your game plan is, fast is cool. We obviously want to go fast because we want a good score in the Open, but you have to stay in control, especially in the first half. Exhale during your squats, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling. Keep a solid front breath. So I like to keep my elbows in thrusters. Your elbows need to be low enough to where you can actually press when you go overhead, instead of just giving up your elbows so high and then you have like the dead spot as you transition to your press. So yes, your elbows will be a little bit lower, but you have to have the weight resting on your collarbones, okay? It's gotta be resting here. If it's resting in your forearms and on your shoulders, holding it like this, it's gonna take so much of your gas. So let it rest on the collarbones, and then as low as you can with the elbows while still maintaining that perfect front breath. That'll be our best spot. I like to take my thumbs and put them behind the bar, actually, on thrusters. And for whatever reason, that does tear up the skin here. So just happens on thrusters. So if you're new to that, maybe wrap your thumb in tape or just bleed a little, you won't die. But so that helps me feel like I'm pressing overhead with a little bit better connection than I do with my thumbs in front for some reason. So I can switch back and forth, but it's a good little tip that I'll try if I'm in suffer mode for sure. On the thruster as well, make sure that your weight is on the center of your foot. A lot of us in a front squat setting will end up getting the ass back too far and getting really tipped over and blowing you up, and then having depth issues. Make sure that you're sitting right in between your feet, ass straight down, and staying as upright as possible here at the bottom. That way you're not having to also deal with this big hinge pulling you forward, okay? So keep good positions, keep your eyes straight ahead, exhale to squat, inhale overhead, nice and smooth. On the pull-ups and the muscle-ups, no matter who you are, what you're doing, good hollow and arch positions are going to pay off in this high volume workout. So, your good hollow and arch positions need to be long with the toe pointed and feel very bent, not broken. As soon as you start breaking big angles, you lose all of your tension that helps you get up there. So really focus on staying long. I like to think of like brushing the ground with the toes as I'm coming through at the bottom, and that'll help keep me long. And then I always like to think about the belly button really coming forward. If you're new, I won't say new, if if you're chest to bar, or if you can do butterfly chest to bar, but it's like, hey, I can only butterfly for a little bit and then it goes to shit and I'm probably gonna have to go to the C-kip. I'd still say do butterfly while it's there, just because it is a little bit easier when you're in rhythm. I do feel like it's a less taxing movement once you can find the rhythm with it. But don't force it, and also have your game plan set. So what I mean by don't force it is if you're supposed to do a set of 5 and you're on rep 3 and you're already out of rhythm and you're barely touching, don't risk getting no reps and then holding on too long and wasting too much energy that blows you up. As soon as it starts to feel hard, come down, break that shit up. If you do singles on that, you can still get through this workout pretty damn well, even if you're doing very, very small quick sets, as long as you have actually quick rest periods. Bar muscle ups. Something that I think is important for everybody is that, especially, you know, we're all gung-ho and trying to go fast, is that a lot of us will end up trying to kind of skip the dip and just go straight up to the top. And that works for a while, and it is obviously a less range of pressing, which is cool, but there's only so long you can catch that high. And especially paired with thrusters where you're just gonna be triceps blown up during this piece, really focus on getting over the bar and landing on top of the bar. When you land here, your toes are in front. Let your weight rest on that bar. Your feet will naturally swing back, and then you pick them up and pop to push up and kip out of that dip. So think about it again. I'm in my hollow and arch positions. I throw the hip, sit up and over, land on top of the bar. My foot is now in front of me. It will swing back. I will pick it up and kick to get out of the dip, and then come back down to the next rep. If you feel like you're getting off rhythm, like you're falling all over the place on your pull-ups or your pull-ups or your chest bar or your bar muscle-ups, I think one of the best cues for all of those situations that it's never a bad thing is to get into that belly button forward arch. If in the arch position, your belly button is the furthest thing forward, chances are you're doing pretty good reps. Most issues are happening because we're getting into the arch position at the wrong time or in the wrong position. So trying to really focus on getting belly button as the leader in the arch and the toes long and pointed. If you're doing that, it will address a lot of issues that come up during these movements. Other than that, guys, keep your shit together, be smart with your sets, but don't be a bitch. Let's get out.